The test continued with Layla being the next one to step forward. Her weapon didn't look like a regular bow. It was different from the ones that people had used a long time ago. This bow was carved using the bones of some beast. It was polished to a shiny bronze, which glittered in the light. Layla stood in the center of the field and waited for the test to start. When the test started, 5 targets appeared in different areas of the wasteland. Layla immediately took out 5 arrows and placed them in her bow, shooting them all off at once in the same direction. Simultaneously, all 5 of the targets were hit, and she completed the first test. On the strength test, Layla didn't do too well. She used her powers to try to move her fist even faster when punching the drum, but in the end, her score was only an 8. In the last test, Layla had attempted to use her ability on the spikes coming at her. Unfortunately, she had been unaware that they were holograms and not the real thing, so it had no effect. This led to her nearly being hit at the start. After that, Layla relied on her actual body to avoid the spikes, yet she ended up getting the same score as Quinn.
It looks like you have the power level 2 ability user.
Jane informed her. Quinn thought the test wasn't really fair. Her ability level might be that of a level 2, but when used with a bow, Quinn felt like she could probably beat some level 3 or perhaps even level 4 ability users. The next person to take the test was Erin. She stood in the center of the testing field waiting for the test to start. 5 random targets appeared across the wasteland. She quickly formed an ice spear and chucked it at the first targets, hitting it dead on. She repeated this 4 more times at an incredible speed, nearly clearing them all just as fast as Layla did. For the next test, Erin's performance was even more impressive. She started to gather ice in both her palms, and then after a minute or so of gathering her power, a huge ice column shot out from her hands and hit the center of the drum dead on. The drum rang out louder than it had before, and the number kept going up until it had eventually reached 50. Finally, when it was time for the last test, the instructor told her she wasn't allowed to use her ability and should just dodge. Erin didn't object, and the test started immediately. She managed to do well, moving swiftly, avoiding each spike, but eventually the machine had gotten too fast and she ended up getting hit.
Impressive. Best results so far. So far, you're the 3rd first-year student with a power level of 5.
Erin started to walk back to her group, her face expressionless and unimpressed, as if she knew what she was going to get all along. Finally, the last person to take the test in the group was Vorden.
Time to show you what I got. Wish me luck.
Could that idiot actually be strong?
Quinn wondered. When the test started, everyone's mouth was left wide open at what they were seeing. On every single one of the tests, Vorden copied the exact same moves as Erin. He used the very same ice ability, performed just as well as Erin.
See? I told you I was strong.
Vorden gleefully pointed at the number 5 to his seemingly new best friend Quinn.
After seeing Vorden perform well on the test, Quinn couldn't help but think about what Vorden's ability was. The first time they met and shook hands, his system told him that Vorden was trying to use his powers on himself. However, Vorden failed for some reason. If Vorden's ability had been ice, surely his hand would have just frozen. Unless Quinn's ability was to block all types of other abilities, but that seemed highly unlikely. Thinking about it, he noticed Vorden's determined attempts to shake the hand of someone he just met every time. Even though Erin refused, Vorden ended up touching her shoulder. So Quinn guesses that Vorden's ability is likely to touch and copy. Quinn couldn't help his curiosity and asked Vorden,
Hey, Vorden is your ability. Are you able to copy other people's abilities?
Vorden looked at Quinn and smiled slyly.
That's the first time someone has figured it out so fast. How did you figure it out?
When you shook my hand, you seemed surprised that nothing happened.
Quinn guesses he's the original, but Vorden doesn't say anything. All abilities originate from the originals, and there are rumors that the most powerful originals' abilities can easily exceed level 8. Once the exam was complete, the hooded man teleported them to the academy, which was the tallest building in the city. There are 10 teachers waiting for students in front of the academy. Eventually, Quinn was assigned a group with a total of 20 students. The lead teacher was a middle-aged man named Dell. He smiled the whole time he was showing the students around, as if nothing could upset him.
You guys should start to get to know each other as much as you can. After all, the people you are with now will be your classmates.
Suddenly the students started talking and Quinn noticed something annoying. Those people were trying to make friends with people 1 level above them. He and Peter, being the only level 1s in the class, were unknowingly pushed to the back of the line, and Peter seemed lost. At this point, Quinn realizes that Vorden is nowhere to be found.
There you are. Man, suddenly all those students just started jumping all over me. Next thing I know, I look to my right side, and you're gone. Come on, let's look around together, buddy. Boy, you, stop being a downer and come with us.
Peter was a little surprised.
Yes, you, Peter. Do you see anyone else beside Quinn?
The 3 of them followed and continued the tour, visiting the battle arena, classrooms, gym, and more. Quinn wasn't much interested in those until they got to the library. The first and first floors of the library are for first and second year students respectively, while the upper floors are reserved for authorized military use, and he might be able to learn something about his abilities here. Eventually, the tour came to an end just outside the school's dorms. Dell made some announcements and then someone handed them a piece of paper with numbers written on it.
Hey, Quinn, what room number did you get?
M. 23.
No way, what a coincidence. I got the same number. Seems like fate is really bringing us together.
Maybe.
And somewhere down the corridor,
Whoa, what happened to you?
I don't know, man. Some guy just appeared and hit me out of nowhere, forcing me to swap room numbers.
Man, should we try to get it back?
It's best if we just leave it. It's just a room after all. I'm pretty sure I saw his wrist showing a 5.